The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Pichitchai Nopagao. Chapter 4. Tom is ill. Monday morning find Tom Sawyer miserable. Monday morning always found him so, because it began another week's slow suffering in school. Tom lay in bed thinking. He wished that he was ill. Then he could stay away from school. He thought that he could detect signs of stomachache and began it. Encouraged them with considerable hope, but they soon grew faint and died away. He considered further. Suddenly he discovered something. One of his upper teeth was loose. This was lucky. He was about to groan when it occurred to him that if he said so his aunt would pull it out, and that would hurt. Then he remembered hearing the doctor speak about a patient who had spent 2 or 3 weeks in bed and who had nearly lost a finger through blood poisoning. So the boy eagerly drew his sore toe from under the sheet and held it up for inspection. Then he began groaning loudly. But Sid slept on, unconscious. Tom groaned louder and fancied that he began to feel pain in the toe. There was no result from Sid. By this time Tom was breathing heavily with his efforts. He had a rest, and then swelled himself up and produced one admirable groan after another. Sid slept on. Tom was annoyed. He called, "Sid, Sid," and shook him. This worked well, and Tom began to groan again. Sid yawned, stretched, and then began to stare at Tom. Tom went on groaning. "Tom, I say, Tom," said Sid. There was no reply. "Here, Tom, Tom, what's the matter, Tom?" Sid shook him and looked in his face anxiously. "Oh, don't, Sid. Don't shake me," Tom moaned. "Why? What's the matter, Tom?" "I must call Auntie." "No, never mind. It'll be over soon. Perhaps. Don't call anybody." "But I must. Don't groan so, Tom. It's awful. How long have you been like this?" "Hours. Oh, don't shake me, Sid. You'll kill me." "Tom, why didn't you wake me sooner?" "Oh, Tom, don't. It makes me feel queer to hear you." "What's the matter, Tom?" "I forgive you everything," Sid. groaned. Everything you've ever done to me when I'm dead. Oh, Tom, you aren't dying, are you? Don't, Tom. Oh, don't. Perhaps I'll forgive everybody, said groan. Tell them so and sit. Give my window flame and my cat with one eye to that new girl who has come to town, and tell her. But Sid had snatched up his clothes and gone. So well was Tom's imagination working that he was really suffering now. His groans had quite and genuine tone. Sid flew downstairs. Oh, Aunt Polly, come! Tom's dying, he cried. Dying? Yes, don't wait. Come quickly. Rubbish! I don't believe it. But she rushed upstairs in spite of her disbelief, with Sid and Mary at her heels, and her face grew white too, and her lips trembled. When she reached the bed, she grasped out, Tom, what's the matter with you, Tom? Oh, Auntie, what's the matter with you? What is the matter with you, child? Oh, Auntie, my big toe's dead. The old lady sank down into a chair and laughed a little, then cried a little, then did both together. This helped her to recover, and she said, Tom, what a shock you did give me. Now stop that nonsense and get out of bed. The groans ceased and the pain vanished from the toe. The boy felt a little foolish, and he said, Aunt Polly, it did seem to be dead, and it hurt so much that I did not feel the pain in my tooth at all. Your tooth? What's the matter with your tooth? One of them is loose, and it aches awfully. There, don't begin that groaning again. Open your mouth. Well, your throat is loose, but you're not going to die of that. Mary, get me a silk thread and a red hot coal from the kitchen. Please, Auntie, don't pull it out. It doesn't hurt anymore. Please, Auntie, I don't want to stay away from school. Oh, you don't you? So all this only was because you thought you managed to stay away from school and go finish? Tom, I love you so, and you seem to try every way you can to break my old heart with your tricks. By this time, these instruments were ready. The old lady made one end of the silk thread fast to Tom's tooth, and tied the other to the bedpost. Then she seized the burning coal and suddenly thrust it almost in the boy's face. The tooth hung from the bedpost now, but all suffering had their rewards. As Tom was going to school after breakfast, He was the envy of every boy he met because the gap in his upper row of teeth enabled him to spit in a new and memorable way. Soon afterwards, Tom met the young outcast of the village, Huckleberry Finn, the son of the town drunkard. Huckleberry was hated and dreaded by all the martyrs of the town because he was idolatrous, ill-bred, and bad, and because all their children admire him, delight in his forbidden sociality, and wish that they dare to be like him. Like the rest of the respectable boys, Tom envied Huckleberry his gay life of freedom and had been given strict orders not to play with him. So he played with him every time he got a chance. Huckleberry was always dressed like a scarecrow. He came and went of his own free will. He slept on doorsteps in fine weather and in empty barrels in wet. He did not have to go to school or to church or call anyone master or obey anybody. He could go fishing or swimming when and where he chose, and stay as long as it suited him. Nobody forbade him to fight. He could sit up as late as he pleased. He was always the first boy to walk barefoot in the spring and the last to wear shoes again in the autumn. He never had to wash or put on clean clothes. He could swear wonderfully in a word. That boy had everything that helps to make life delightful. So thought every respectable boy in St. Petersburg. Hello, Huckleberry. Was that your guard? Asked Tom. Hello, dead cat. Let me see it. Hook. How stiff it is. Was the dead cat good for, Hook? For curing what? But how do you cure them? Why, you take the cat about midnight to a graveyard where somebody that was weeks has been buried. When it's midnight, a devil will come, or perhaps two or three. But you can't see them. You can only hear something like the wind, or perhaps hear them talking. When they're taking that waste willow away, you draw your cat out after them and say, Devil follow body, cat follow devil, words follow cat. I'll finish with you. That will crow any word. It sounds alright. Have you ever tried Hook? No, but Mother Hopkins told me. Well, that's good enough because they say she is a witch. Hook, When are you going to try that cat? Tonight. I believe they'll come after old horse Williams tonight. But he was buried on Saturday. Hook, didn't they get him on Saturday night? Why? How you talk? How could their sham work before midnight? And then it's Sunday. Devils don't creep about much on a Sunday, as far as I know. I never thought of that. That's so. Will you let me go with you? Of course, if you're not afraid. Afraid? Not likely. Will you meow like a cat? Yes, and you meow back if you get a chance. The last time you kept me meowing outside the house till old Hayes began throwing things at me and saying, "'Cause that cat," so I throw a brick through his window, but don't tell. I wouldn't. I couldn't meow that night because Auntie was watching me, but I'll meow this time. The boys separated. When Tom reached the little school, he marched boldly in as if he had come as fast as he could. The teacher was nodding admires the hum of study. The interruption roused him. Thomas Sawyer. Tom knew that when his name was pronounced in full, it meant trouble. Sir, come here. Now, why are you late again? As usual? Tom was about to lie, when he saw two long tails of yellow hair hanging down from a head that he recognized, and by that head was the only vacant seat on the girls' side of the school. He instantly said, "I stopped to talk with Huckleberry Finn." The teacher stared at him as if he could not believe his ears. The hum of study ceased. The pupils wondered whether this boy had gone mad. The teacher said, You did what?" "I stopped to talk with Huckleberry Finn." The boy's words were quite distinct and could not be misunderstood. "Tom Sawyer, this is the most astounding confession I have ever listened to. You deserve a severe punishment. Take off your coat." The stick rose and fell until the teacher's arms was tired. Then the other followed. "Now, sir, go and sit with the girls. And let it be a warning to you." When all the pupils laughed, Tom seemed to look ashamed, but in reality, that look was caused by his worship of the unknown angel and by his amazement at his luck. He sat down upon the end of the bench, and the girl proudly moved away from him. Tom sat still and seemed to study his book. Soon, the other children ceased to pay any attention to him, and the accustomed school murmurs rose upon the dull air once more. Presently, the boys began to steal grunts at the girl. She observed him, pulled a face at him, and turned the back of her head to him for a minute. When she cautiously looked around again, he was drawing something at the back of his book, hitting his work with his left hand. For some time the girl refused to notice, but at last she hesitatingly whispered, "Let me see it." Tom uncovered a wig drawing of a house with a crackle of smoke coming from the chimney. Then he had a man like a mess in the front yard. The girl said, "I wish I could draw." "It's easy," whispered Tom. "I'll teach you." "Oh, will you? When?" "At dinner time." "Good, that's a promise. What's your name?" "Becky Thatcher." "What's your name?" "Oh, I know. It's Thomas Sawyer. That's the name they use when they beat me. I'm Tom when I'm good. Call me Tom, will you?" "Yes." Just at this moment, a finger and thumb closed on his ear and raised him to his feet. He was led across the schoolroom and sit down in his own seat, amidst the laughter of the whole school. Then the teacher stood over him during a few awful moments, and finally moved away to his chair without saying a word. But although Tom's ear burned, his heart was singing.